Hello and welcome. I'm glad that you're with us again as we continue our chronological read through of the Bible. Today we're reading Numbers chapters 3 and 4. Yesterday we read about the census that God had commanded Moses to do, specifically leaving out the Levites who would serve God by caring for and guarding the tabernacle and the holy things. Today, we're going to read more about the duties of the Levites, and we'll have an independent numbering of them for the purpose of redeeming the firstborn males of the nation, but more on that shortly. Aaron's 4 sons are listed right at the beginning of our reading today, and we're reminded once again about the death of his 2 eldest sons because they offered unauthorized fire before the Lord. That's a reminder of how important it is for the priest to distinguish between the clean and the unclean, and to do things strictly according to God's command. God describes in great detail to Moses the duties of the Levites with respect to the tabernacle and its furnishings. He does this in connection with claiming the Levites for his own, declaring them, the Levites, his firstborn, and reminding Israel that he had separated the firstborn sons of Israel, or that he had spared the firstborn sons of Israel when he struck down the firstborn throughout Egypt. God tells Moses to list all of the sons of Levi, a month old or older by clan, and as those numbers were given, we read the assignment that clan has been given for the items of the tabernacle that they are to guard and care for. The total number of males in the tribe of Levi came to 22,000. God then has Moses count all of the firstborn males of the balance of the tribes. In other words, all of the firstborn sons of all of the tribes of Israel except for Levi. And that number comes to 22,373. Now, according to Exodus chapter 34, verse 20, all of the firstborn males belong to the Lord. So what God does instead is to take the entire tribe of Levi in exchange for the firstborn males of the balance of the people. And then he commands that the remaining 373 be redeemed for 5 shekels each, with the money being given to Aaron and to his sons. Now, notice in verse 41 that even the livestock are taken by God in place of the firstborn for the rest of Israel, the livestock of the tribe of Levi. Clearly, this idea of the firstborn, like the first fruits, is very important to God. Indeed, it's God's firstborn son, Jesus, who is given for the redemption of all people. Chapter 4 then gives us a very detailed description of the duties that are assigned to the Kohathites, which is the clan to which Moses and Aaron belong. Their duties are a little bit different than everyone else. They're assigned to carry the sanctuary and all the furnishings of it. The instructions emphasize the need for great respect because of the holiness of the things they will be dealing with and the consequences that they will suffer if they do not. And actually, the other people would suffer if somehow or another that caused them to defile them in some way. Indeed, great care is taken to shield the most holy of the items from view, even from those who are carrying them, lest they die when they see them. Notice that they're not allowed to touch any of the holy things, but instead, the most holy items are wrapped to hide them from sight, and poles are used to inserted into rings to use to be able to carry them on their shoulders without touching the most holy things. For to touch something is the most common way for something to become unclean. When we get to later on, when we get to 2 Samuel chapter 6, we'll read that Uzziah was struck dead when he reached out to try to keep the ark from falling off a wagon it was being carried on, but more about that at the proper time. We too have been entrusted with the holy things of God, specifically his word and the sacraments. They are to be treated with respect and to be kept free from defilement by heresy and misuse, as they are used by God to work and strengthen faith among his people. Well, again, may God be with you and bless you as you continue your readings. I pray that you are being edified And I look forward to joining you again tomorrow as we gather to read again.